Welcome back to the Unikaksha. So in the last session, we have studied about vectors. So vectors are homogeneous, vectors are one-dimensional. These are all the things we have seen with respect to the vector. Today, as we discussed, we are going to start up with something called as a factor and a data fill. So let me just introduce you what do we mean by the factor. For that, I need to go to my RStudio. So let me just quickly go back to my RStudio. Yes, here it is. So what is factor? Factor basically defines categorical type of data. I know you might be confused about what is categorical data, right? Whenever we see basically any column or any data, first try to think about whether it is numerical data or whether it is categorical data. How will you identify? First example is salary. Salary is a numerical data, it's a continuous data. Second example would be the email that is there in my email box, whether it is spam or whether it is a legitimate email. This is a kind of categorical data because your answer is going to be either spam or not spam, right? So this is called as categorical data where the answer is discrete, where you are aware that my answer is going to be either this category or this category or this category and so on. But whenever it comes to continuous type of data, so say for example, what will be the score made by a certain cricket team in a certain match? In that case, you can't say that the score can be either 100 or it can be 150 or it can be 200. It's not like that. It can be 80, it can be 96, it can be 101, it can be 304, it can be 401. It can span any number, right? So that's basically what we mean by continuous type of data or numerical data. So whenever we are talking about the categorical type of data, it is called as categorical because it consists of subgroups. Sounds confusing? For example, if I take gender as a categorical type of data, because there are not many genders or uncountable genders, right? Gender is either male or it can be female or it can be do not want to reveal. So these are supposed the three possibilities that a person can enter for a question related to the gender. So this type of data you can call as categorical data, and male, female, don't want to reveal. These are the three subgroups of that categorical type of data. I hope you are getting it. Another example could be department. So department is a category, right? Department is nothing but a kind of categorical data. And when you say that department can be finance, department can be marketing, department can be IT, these are called as the subgroups which are present inside that department. Or you can say the levels of your data. So what you need to understand from this is what is factor and what is its level. Factor is that variable, and level is nothing but the subgroups which are present in that variable. Marital status will become a factor. Married, unmarried, widowed, divorced, do not want to reveal. These five are nothing but the subgroups of that marital status. From this, just make sure that you are understanding the difference in between categorical variable and the level. So when you say it's a categorical variable, it's compulsory that it should have more than one level. Otherwise, it won't become a variable, it will become a constant. Confused? So let us take one example. There is a value for, or there is a column of gender. Now, in the column of gender, if everyone enters information as male, then obviously that column will become constant because it is not having variety of the answers. So when you say that my column is categorical, it is needed that it should have at least two or more than two levels which are associated with that factor. I hope this part is clear. Now, suppose I am taking the same example of a gender and I am creating one vector to store the value of gender, say male, female, female, male, and male. So when you create a type of data like this, and if you try to check its type, so I'm writing type and I'm passing this gender, it gives me the value. What happened? Okay, I have to use class function. In Python, we use type. So sometimes Python and R gets mixed up. Anyways, so as you can see, it shows the class as character because this gender variable or this gender vector, we can say, is made up of all the elements which are of the type character. Now, if I just use this function called as summary, and if I pass gender variable to this, I should have written it in script, but No worries, I have written it inside the console. Let me copy this very quickly. Yes. Anyways, if you write your query in console or in the script, the output is exactly the same. The only difference is you can store your script, but you cannot store your console. So make sure that whenever you are writing the codes, you are writing that properly inside the script only. Otherwise, you may lose on some of the coding lines. Yeah, coming back to this, it is showing me length is equal to 5. That indicates there are 5 elements, all of the type character and the mode. Mode is nothing but the group that is having the highest number of observations. But again, whenever you say that it's a character, so every entity is treated separately. Character do not have the grouping capability, and that's why it will show that there is no mode for this given data. So what to do now? If you want your data to get a grouping ability, then you have to convert that data into factor format. So I can write gender underscore fact is equal to as dot factor. This is a function available in order to convert any quantity into the categorical quantity, that too in a factor type of quantity, which will be able to create the subgroups in the data. Then you can use this as dot factor function and pass gender variable to this, run this, and now check gender underscore fact. You can see that it is showing you this levels is equal to M and F. That means there are 2 specific levels present inside this gender underscore fact. Now, if I simply try to check summary of gender underscore fact, you'll get to see that it provides you the frequency that there are 2 female and 3 male observations inside this particular data. So this grouping ability is provided by the factor. That's the reason why factor is more useful whenever it comes to analysis, where it comes to understanding of the data, because it helps you to understand how many unique levels are there, how much is the data present at a certain unique level. So you will get also an idea that, okay, this is a group having high number of observations, this is the group having lower number of observation, and then you can scrutinize that data, why it is having high, why it is having low observations, and how it is impacting on overall quality of your data. This entire analysis you can perform using the concept of the factor. I hope this concept of factor is very clear to you, and so we can move to something called as a data frame now. Data frame is called as a combination of vectors and factors. Now why? I'll show you one example. I'm creating EID as a variable to store values of employee ID from 1 to 5. I'll create one more variable called as employee name that will store some names. So currently I'm simply writing the value as A, B, C, D, E. So these are a few of the names that I simply want to give. I'll write E salary, that is nothing but a salary information. So I'm expecting the salary is written in terms of thousands. So these are the salaries that are written by us. Now, what I want is, I want to write a data in certain format that ID1 should be given name A and should be given with the salary 10,000. ID2 with name B with salary 30,000. ID3 with name C and salary of 45,000. ID4 with name D, salary of 65,000, and so on. So in this case, I can use this EMP. That's the final result, which will be the combination of all these individual vectors we have created. This is a data frame generated out of ID, out of name, and out of e-salary. If you run and check what is stored in the EMP, so this is basically the data in front of you. So this data looks very similar to that of any tabular information present in Excel, present in CSV, or like in a SQL type of data structure, right? Now, what happens if I try to store this data or export this data? Is it possible to export this data? Yes, it's absolutely possible. So if I want to export this data to the CSV format, I'll use the function called as write.csv. Now write.csv requires first argument to pass as what you want to copy in your CSV. So I want to copy this EMP. Then you have to specify the file path. So where you want to store it. So let me just check. Yes, this is some folder I have called as a YouTube folder. So I'll copy this. I'll paste this path over here. I will change the slashes. So it's very necessary to change the slash, otherwise /n or /t, these are the escape characters used in R. So the system can get confused if your path also consists of the same type of nomenclatures, and that's why for safer side, which always changes slash to the /. So we are saying that store this EMP at this location, but by what name you want to store it? So suppose I want to again store it by employee information.csv. In R, it is mandatory that whenever you write anything about file, you have to write its extension as well. Just run this. Now you can see that there is no error generated. That means the file is written successfully. Where to see this output? So just go to that particular folder. So this is the folder. Run that file. So here is the file, and it consists of the information that is just entered by you. So I just hope this part is clear, that how we got this file or how we saved our data to the file. Right? There are a lot of things, there are a lot of operations that we can perform, we can implement on the data frame that we are definitely going to discuss in our upcoming session. I think in today's session, it's very clear to you that how to create a factor, what's basically the difference in between character and factor. There is a very thin line in between character and factor. Character is a single entity, but when you convert it into factor, it becomes a group entity, it becomes a categorical type of entity, of which you can create multiple subgroups that can be used for the further study. And then we have seen how to create a very simple data frame. One more thing with respect to the data frame. So while you're creating a data frame, make sure that if you're creating it using the vectors, every vector must have the same number of elements. So if I write 1 to 6 like this, let me execute this and let me execute this data frame. So it will generate an error saying that arguments are not matching with the number. So whenever you are creating the data frame using the vectors, make sure that all the vectors are having same number of entries or same number of elements. So this is one thing to remember. And yeah, one more thing to remember, that it's very necessary that whenever you write the file, basically file path, that time just invert the slashes, make your backward slashes to forward slashes. Otherwise, the R programming language may get confused that whether it's a path or whether it is a /t, which acts as a tab, or /n, which acts as a new line. So in order to avoid this confusion, make sure to invert the path location. That's it in today's session. See you all soon tomorrow. See you all soon in the next session. Till the time, take care. Bye.